What up? This is on the sick one to sobriety. Mi nombre es Robert, soy alcohólico y drogadicto. So I left out letting y'all know how I lost my job due to drug addiction, how my career of lying to my parents started. And so me lying to my parents about going to work was actually um like happened over a couple weeks, right? They just let it play out. They let it play out. They just wanted, I guess, they wanted to see how big of a hole I'll dig myself into. They just left me the rope, dog, and then they let me hang myself out there. You know what I mean? And I'll never forget the conversation my mom had with me. I was laying at this time. I didn't have anything, right? I didn't have a bed or nothing. I was in what I called the computer room, which we had a couch, but the couch was too little for me to sleep on. It was a little two-seater, so I would sleep on the floor. And I remember just being sitting up against the couch, and my mom walked in, and she sat on the couch, and she's like, "Okay, Rob, like the gig is up. Like, is it the gig or jig? I don't know, one of those." She's like, "It's up. Like, tell me the truth. Like, don't." She's like, "I already know what the answer is." She's like, "So just please, like, just stop. Like, what's the truth? What are you doing with your life? Are you working or not?" And since I'm a crybaby, I started fucking bawling out right there. You know, the tears started flowing. And I decided to be honest with my mom. And I was like, no, I'm not working. I haven't had a job in a couple weeks. This is what happened, whatever, whatever. And she's like, oh, okay. And that's it. That was it. Because they already knew the answer. They already knew what's up. And then after I did that with my mom, now I guess that was just like prepping me to go actually do that with my dad. And so I went, eventually had a meeting with my dad. And then I told him, like, look, I haven't been working for a couple of weeks. I just need to find another job. You know what I mean? And then he knew what was up. He knew I was lying all those weeks and all that shit. But they weren't really as mad as I thought they would be. They were like, okay, they're like, you could have just told us this in the beginning and we wouldn't have tripped. You know what I mean? You told us you had lost a job. Okay, well, people lose jobs all the time. It's whatever. Just go out and find another one. It's that simple. But in my tweaker mind, it wasn't that simple. I needed to worry about bills and I needed to worry about their feelings. And I didn't want them to feel like I let them down. I didn't want to break their hearts that I'm not able to hold the job. You know what I mean? And I didn't want to admit another failure. You know, so it's just a bunch of things that fucking just start running. Empiezan a maquinar en tu mente y luego pues de volada empiezas a valer verga con los sentimientos y con las emociones y con los pensamientos and it's just fucked up. And I started looking for another job. And my parents were there to help. They didn't. It sucks because I would take away from them instead of helping and giving them something. You know what I mean? I started taking their money because they would give me money for the bus. And yeah, sometimes I would use it to actually go look and apply somewhere. But I was always only into working security guard jobs because, for one, I'm a figure. For two, I'm lazy as fuck and I really don't want to work. So security job was the best of both worlds for me. I puedo tirar hueva y puedo fumar crico. That was just it. And it happened like that for a while. I bullshitted my way through for a couple months, pretending that I was looking for work. My parents would ask me, "Oh, did you look for work?" "Oh yeah, I went here. I went to Food for Less. I went to Payless. I went to Target. I went here. I went to Walmart. I went Jack in the Box. I would like name all kinds of places, and really, I was just kicking it with the fucking netcode when we're both fucking just smoked out of our brains. You know what I mean? But eventually, one of my homies that he was a security guard, he told me about the company he's working for. He's like, "Go, fool! Like they're hiring. Put me down as a reference and everything. It's cool." And I was like, "All right, cool." I went, and sure enough, they fucking said, "All right, we're gonna do a drug test on you to whatever." They gave me the interview. They're gonna say, "All right, we're gonna do a drug test and everything." And I was like, "Cool." And I didn't really care about getting a job because the night before I was tweaking it. I knew I had a drug test at 9 in the morning, and it was 2 or 3 in the morning, and I was still tweaking it. I didn't give a fuck. I didn't care if my friend looked bad for putting his name on the line for me. You know what I mean? And I went, did my drug test. I have no idea how I didn't test positive for anything because I was on everything. You know what I mean? And I got the job, and my parents were like, "Oh, finally, that I could feel like a different change in their vibe." You know what I mean? They were feeling something different, and they were, I don't know if they were proud of me, but they were just relieved that, okay, now we could count on Robert for some type of help, financial help, because we're struggling over here. And that's just little things like that where I was more of a burden to the household. You know what I mean? Like that sucks. That's the type of weight that I would carry on my shoulders, that like I'm failing. I'm failing as a man, not only that, but as a son. I'm failing as a brother. And those harsh emotions are one of the driving factors of me wanting to continue to smoke shizzy, because smoking shizzy would take away all those emotions from me. They wouldn't let me feel anything. And I didn't want to feel like I was a failure. I didn't want to feel like I fucking sucked at being a brother. I didn't, you know what I mean? Like I just wanted to get rid of all of that and feel happy, maybe. I don't know if it really made me feel happy, but it definitely put me in a different type of mood. And I got that job, got my uniforms, told my homie about it. He was proud of me. He said, hell yeah, you start working, get your money right. And I got my money right, and my fucking drug addiction took off like a motherfucker again.